Hello, and welcome back to the Level Up climbing series. I'm Marcus, a not-so-great climber from Vancouver, Canada, who's hoping to get a little bit better throughout this series through analysis and general motivation for climbing. If you've been following the series, you'll know that this orange 4 hex has been giving me an absolute headache, and towards the end of last episode, I thought I had almost cracked the code, but I just could not stick this toe hook to save my life this time. I was able to do it pretty consistently before, but after, I think this is my 4th attempt here, I still can't hold the toe hook, which was pretty frustrating. So I don't know at all what I was doing differently. On that attempt, I tried to make sure I hit just the very bottom. I thought maybe I was overshooting, and here I barely have the toe hook for maybe half a second. But once I realized that, something I realized was I was actually feeling pretty strong today. As you can see, I'm actually holding it decently well, and grabbing the corner there I thought was a viable option. I had tried it before, but wasn't even nearly as close as now, but I'm just completely swinging. I think the direction that I'm swinging off is not parallel with the direction of swing if I grab the corner, and so I just end up going in this kind of swirling motion, that tornado, and that fall was pretty funny. But yeah, on this next attempt, I start focusing instead on trying to grab the top of that right hold, and that kind of becomes my new beta for today, because as I said, I was just feeling pretty strong. I don't know if it's all the finger training I've been doing more recently, but this just felt a lot better, and I felt like there's a decent chance I can hold this. So that's what I pretty much go for. I'm focused on trying to hit the top part of that hold, and also trying to get a good jump. And here I actually managed to stick it, and the top part was not trivial, but I was pretty confident I could do the rest of this climb. As you can see, this one's a little weird. The finish hold is all the way up there, and you can't use the top of the wall yet. So, but I was really happy to have gone this. If you've been following, I think this was my 6th session doing this. I had been trying it since it first came out, and I knew it was being taken down next week. So I wanted to actually get the send on this, because how cool would it be to work so hard on a climb and finally get it. So from the start, I end up back in this position, and I just couldn't hold it this time. And my strategy here was, it was 5:30 now. I had to leave by 6, and I knew that this was a pretty long and tiring route. So I made sure to give myself 5 minutes rest in between each climb, and I kind of capped it off at 6 p.m. Essentially, I kind of told myself that I really did learn all the moves that I needed to get from it. At this point, I'm kind of just climbing for the satisfaction of the send, and not necessarily to learn new moves here. So that was something that kind of helped reduce the pressure of being I need to send this. With that said, I definitely really wanted to send this. Something else I forgot to mention too is that for that last little dynamic part towards the end there, it was actually so different from what I was doing before. I actually felt like I had to jump into the move. I found by jumping, I can gain my center of mass right underneath the hold, and it just feels a lot better. But yeah, this next attempt is my final attempt. It was 6 p.m., the end of my 3-hour session, and I told myself, no matter what happens, this is going to be my last go. So, as they always say, last go's best go. So for my next session, I'm in the Hive Vancouver. This is a gym that I very rarely visit. I'll come here maybe once every 6 months or so. I think last time I was here was around February or March of this year. Just because it's a little out of the way for me. But I had quite a few friends who were coming to this location on this day, so I thought I'd make it out as well. And overall, my personal opinion is that the climbs are just a little softer here. I realize I've never actually really talked about the Hive. In the Greater Vancouver region, they're pretty much the main bouldering gym company. They have 4 locations in the Greater Vancouver. So they have one in Vancouver itself, North Vancouver, Surrey, and Coquitlam. And each of them all have a little bit different styles, different route setters, obviously. And although I would say they have a monopoly on the market right now, and memberships and everything are a little expensive, I will say something that's a little nice is that we have access to all the different gyms with just one membership. So it was kind of nice being able to go to a gym that I had not tried a single climb in at all. So it was a brand new gym for me, essentially, and there was a lot to climb. I took a general look around, and there were about 11 4 hexes, I think, at least the ones that had been graded, and every single one of them looked pretty doable to me. I thought it was just pretty much a matter of how much strength do I have by the end of the session. And there were even some 5 hexes that I was a little interested in at least trying or hopping on. So this is the last 3 hex that I was on for the day, just for my warm-up. And I started moving on to this red 4 hex. Something I actually noticed, not necessarily climb related, but talking about the different hives, is this is the first time I've actually seen red holds in a long time. The Surrey and Vancouver locations, which is where I usually climb, don't have any of these red holds. So it was just interesting being on different holds that I'm not really used to and I never really see. But yeah, here is this move to the second large, I don't even know what hold that is, but was essentially the crux. You have to be a little bit dynamic and catch it with both hands, and from there it was pretty simple. It just took me a couple tries to figure out exactly what the beta was, and just to have confidence with that slightly dynamic move there. So this pink 4 hex was a pretty cool one. I started with this heel hook, trying to go to this sloper that was pretty high for me, and also pretty far. So it just felt very spanny and quite uncomfortable. So I actually switched to a toe hook here, which gives me a little bit more reach so that I can go to that next hold. And toe hooks have not been my specialty, but they are something that I've been working actively on since starting this series, and I think I'm a lot more mindful of. So here I managed to hold the swing, but I can't quite get my foot up. And so what I end up doing this time is, once I hit the right hand crimp, I readjust the left hand just a little bit higher so that I can actually get the foot up. And from there, I thought it was going to be pretty trivial. I'm still trying to figure out where the feet go, but the holes actually are not too bad. But this move is just a little tricky. I'm trying to go left there, but it just doesn't feel right. And as I go far right here and throw for that left hand, I swing off and fall, as you saw. So I try again, and as you see, I readjust the left hand yet again, and I managed to stick this move, no problem. And I'm still just not sure what I'm supposed to do. I wonder if I should use this left hold first and just try and lean right, but it still just doesn't feel good. I can't get into the right body positioning. So I find this little left toe hook here, and it makes this next move way easier. And I was really happy to have found that, because again, toe hooks aren't something I am usually looking for. So So to have been able to find it, I was really happy about. This pink 4 hex was also one that was pretty tricky. It starts with that left hand and this kind of throw to this undercling. I just completely missed the first time, and I think this time I try and go a little bit more dynamically, jumping off that right foot. On my previous attempt, I had flagged when throwing for the right hand there. I was really surprised that I managed to catch this left hand here too. And even here, I'm cutting feet, and that's just something I still gotta work on, is having a bit more tension. But yeah, this next move made no sense to me. I'm just leaning so far left. But after a pretty long break and being a little bit more efficient with the bottom section, I managed to stick this, which is something I was really happy about. And something I was actually going to mention is I feel like I've been a little bit more confident with my climbing lately. I think before I had been a little bit more scared of falling and things. Something really simple I've been doing lately is not necessarily climbing all the way down, but I'll jump from the top, and it's making me a little bit more comfortable with falling, especially after having some spooky falls in the past. And I feel like I've just been more confident going for final moves. So here, I literally think the only difference between my first and second attempt was that I really brushed that one hold that I fell on. These holds, although they look decently crimpy, they're actually pretty slopey, and I found that friction was the main thing holding me back here. But once I really got to that far right hold, the rest was pretty easy. It felt pretty simple to me. It just felt like I had to take my time, and that was another easy send. This black 4 hex I thought was pretty cool. Originally I had just this dyno to this hold, and that was a terrible jump. I focus on, or the main switch I make is trying to get the foot up even higher here, and I can literally just lean. I don't even have to dyno it. So I really don't necessarily know what makes this a 4 hex. This goes back to what I was saying. I think this gym is just a little bit softer than the rest of the hives. But I think now I'm at 5 4 hexes for the session, while usually I have maybe 3 on a good day. So things were going well. This green 4 hex was one that I thought, even looking at it, was probably one of the trickier ones and seemed like a proper 4 hex. Trying this just small crimps here and trying to figure out the beta was a little difficult, and I couldn't see the foothold here. So I'm asking my brothers to kind of point it out for me, even though apparently I hit it the first time. But I actually think that was a mistake. My feet are a little bit too high, and I can't really rock over to the left to hit the crimp on the volume properly. So on this next attempt, I actually keep the foot down, and I go lean left here, and then I get the foot up, and it feels so much better. From there, I'm, again, still just kind of trying to read as I go along, and luckily it was not too bad. I think this last hold is pretty slopey, a little pinchy, but also pretty slopey, and I was a little worried about this last move. I wasn't sure if I could go statically, but luckily I find that higher foot and I can go relatively statically, and I was pretty happy about that send. This yellow 4 hex looks like something that I'd get along with pretty well. I kind of wish I did it towards the beginning of the session, because it is quite overhung, and all the holds are pretty juggy though. This is kind of the style I really enjoy. Very big moves, dynamic moves, all on overhang, but all very juggy. But this next move, I was just pumping out. The next hold is not quite a jug, and trying to make my way there felt really hard. And I think the main thing was I just couldn't find good feet. And so this was like another case of I think I can usually get away with this because I'm strong enough to make this next move. but I think I lacked the technique to have been able to do it while being a little bit more pumped, a little bit weaker. So not sure what I should have done there. This yellow 4 hex was a really cool one. I think I had 20 minutes left in the gym. The gym was closing, and it just looked so cool. You're trying to dynamically go step up on this hold on the volume, and then try and grab that left side pull. At first, I was trying it this way, trying with both my feet on both holds and trying to kind of push myself. But eventually, I switched to the more dynamic swinging method. And again, if you've been following the series for a little while, this is actually kind of similar to one of the pink climbs I did either last week or 2 weeks ago. But also, I think is very similar to the elimination climbs that, or elimination drill that I usually do at the beginning of most of my sessions, or at least I had been. So yeah, I'm really just trying to swing that foot, gain some momentum, and the main focus was trying to swing myself into the wall. I think it's very easy to get caught up on trying to go left. I realized that if I can essentially go upwards and just stand and land on the foot, I barely even need the hand. So here I'm just focusing on being a little bit more confident and going into the wall. I will say this is almost purely mental, because you don't want to bash your face into the wall or slam your body into the wall, but you almost need that kind of mentality. And I take quite a slip here. Don't even know what happened, but it knocked the wind out of me for a bit there. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm just focusing on going more into the wall and starting by swinging my foot out of the wall first. That was like a small change that really helped. And I'm actually getting closer with pretty much every attempt. I decided to take a larger break here because I really felt like I could hit this move. And so as I hop back on, I finally stick it for the first time. Now, I thought that was probably going to be the hardest move of the climb. But eventually I realized that, that top hold is actually a sloper. And it is not a jug. And so I have to dyno to a not so great sloper with no feet. So I end up bailing and trying again. I couldn't stick it every single time after, as you can see, but I think dynos are kind of interesting where usually once you hit it once, you can get pretty consistently afterwards. So here, I'm just trying to gain the courage to hit that jump. And I managed to get both hands on it, but it is very slopey. I think with a bit more time, I could probably do it. But again, the gym was closing. I only had a few attempts left. And they also even took away lots of the long brushes in the gym. So I couldn't even brush the finish hold. But yeah, since the gym was closing, this next attempt was pretty much going to be my last attempt. And overall, I was just really happy to have even made that first move. It really shows that I was able to at least learn something from this climb, and it's just been part of the general mindset that I feel like I've been shifting towards. I don't necessarily need the send as long as I'm learning. I can be happy with whatever happens. So here, regardless of if I send it, it's going to be my last go, and well, last go, best go.